Shane Dawson finally posted the final part of his 3-part series, and we got a lot of answers about the unreleased palette and the future of Jeffree Star's career on YouTube. In part 2, we left off without seeing the unreleased palette and on a cliffhanger about Jeffree quitting YouTube. Jeffree had said that it was his time to hang up his hat and move on from the platform, and that's where the episode ended. The new video is called The End of Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson, and it's about just that. Jeffree says he's not having fun with YouTube anymore. He feels like people aren't into the long-form content, and he feels like he's wasting his time. Jeffree said that it's not that he's irrelevant now, it's just that things that are getting views are short-form content over on TikTok. He talked about how even Instagram pictures aren't getting the engagement they once were because of the algorithm change. Instagram saw how good TikTok was doing, and they followed that trend and started to push videos over pictures. You guys probably remember earlier this year when that whole movement started to try and save Instagram because their platform was about being a picture sharing platform, and they've completely overhauled the app and changed it to copy TikTok. Jeffree pretty much says that it just goes to show you how much things are changing.
It isn't about being canceled or not being popular enough anymore. We already did it all, so it's like, okay, well, we're still us, we're not irrelevant. It's just how do you navigate in a new world? And Reels and TikToks are the only thing that get views.
You do a photo, the likes are so
horrendous. You do a reel, 5 million views. Well, only 800K clicked my last video and no one fucking cares. So it isn't like, oh, well, you're not getting any views anymore, so you're gonna stop uploading? Yeah, kinda.
Jeffree also said that he doesn't find posting on YouTube fun anymore because people made him out to be a villain. He used the whole alcohol thing as an example. As I'm sure a lot of you guys know, Jeffree has always stood by the fact that he's never drank alcohol before and hasn't even had a sip. Now, a lot of people didn't believe that. Some people thought that because of his past with going on tours and everything, that he probably has drank before. And even Shane asked him in the last episode if he's actually never drank before. Jeffree said that people started to make videos trying to debunk every little thing about him, and it just made YouTube not fun for him. He said he didn't want to be on a platform where he's not liked or wanted. One thing that really stood out to me and kept coming up throughout this entire video was just how upset Shane was about Jeffree leaving YouTube.
I feel like you've got lots of good stuff. I don't know what's like dark about this.
I just feel sad.
Personally, or for Jeffree, or what?
I mean, I'm happy that he's happy. I'm sad about him being so negative about YouTube. I get it, but I don't know.
Shane kept saying over and over again how sad he was and how he felt like Jeffree had a bad outlook towards YouTube, and he just couldn't understand why he would want to leave. And I mean, I get him being upset about that whole era ending for him, but it's not like him and Jeffree can't still be friends or go visit each other just because he's quitting YouTube. You would think Shane was saying goodbye to Jeffree for good with how upset he was about Jeffree just wanting to move on and do other things. I feel like if anything, Shane should probably be happy for him. There's a lot of people who still post videos, and you can just tell they're not into it anymore. But making that transition from YouTube to something else is really hard and really scary. Instead of being sad, I feel like Shane should be happy that Jeffree moved away from LA, hasn't really been in any drama recently, and realized that his time on YouTube is coming to an end. He should be happy that Jeffree has this whole yak business and the makeup, and that's enough to support him so he can walk away. A lot of people are wondering if maybe Shane's so sad because he feels like he can't walk away that easily. Shane even made a comment during the video that it's hard for him to wrap his head around Jeffree choosing to leave because he himself has been on the platform for so long now, and he's gone through so many dips and rises. And in a way, he knows that a rise will happen again eventually. Whereas Jeffree, he sees this dip in views and that shift in what people are watching, and he's just done. I've seen a lot of people saying that Jeffree has always looked at YouTube as a stepping stone in his career. When YouTube started to get popular and beauty was picking up, he switched over to YouTube and grew his business through a whole new audience over here. Then you have Shane, who's only really ever done YouTube, and that's how people know him. Right now, Shane doesn't have a brand outside of YouTube where he could just walk away and still have that brand to fall back on. They're both in such different situations, so I guess that's why Shane can't understand why Jeffree wants to walk away. Eventually, Jeffree's new social media girl came over to help him film a few TikToks, and the interesting thing is, she actually worked at Morphe and saw the rise of Jeffree and Shane with the conspiracy palette, and she was there and saw the fall of them when Morphe cut ties pretty much overnight. A lot of people have been wondering what was going on at Morphe when all the drama was going down, and she was actually there that day when they removed the conspiracy palette from the store. She said she came into work and they just said, take it all down and put it in the bag.
So I guess what I was gonna ask is, was there a moment of like, I wonder if all the stores being told like, hey, we're not gonna carry this anymore, we gotta take it away. Were you there for that?
I was in management at the time, and
Oh my god!
and,
Oh girl!
they just said take him down. When I got into work, they're like, take him down, put it in the back.
As for the palette that never got released, it turns out they actually aren't going to sell it. A lot of us were thinking that the whole point of this series was going to be for them to show this unreleased palette, and everyone would say that they want it and they would end up releasing it. That's actually impossible to happen now because Jeffree ended up taking the shades and using them in a bunch of different palettes over these past few years.
I wanted for that top shimmer.
Oh wow. Okay.
It is just giving you the one gold that you need in this palette.
Oh wow. Hi.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god.
There was a lot of speculation that the palette was going to be called the Cancelled Palette, and I guess if they were to release it, it probably would have been called that, but that actually wasn't the original name. The original name they had for the palette before everything happened was the Doomsday Palette. Shane said they had that idea long before COVID or anything happened, so looking back now, he's kind of happy they didn't end up releasing it because it feels really dark to him. He said he can't handle that darkness anymore, and he feels like their lives are so much better now compared to where they were before. Shane said he feels like he was trying to continue on that feeling that he got from his first palette. He wanted to keep that feeling alive, but now he's just happy that him and Jeffree still have a friendship outside of the palette. Shane ended up leaving Staryak Ranch and returning home, and it ended still under the impression that Jeffree would be quitting YouTube soon. As for what people are saying, a lot of their comments are actually pretty positive. There's tons of people saying that the video was a nice ending to a huge era on YouTube, and they're happy Jeffree realized that it's time to move on. Here's what people had to say. Didn't realize how much this series was needed to close a chapter we didn't realize needed closing. An absolute end of an era, and the emotions were high for this one. Goodbye Jeffree and Shane, such a wonderful end to their creative partnership. I always love their energy together throughout both series. It's such a sad end to an iconic era, but I'm glad to see that Jeffree is content and at peace with his new journey. Another comment that I've seen over and over again is that despite what Jeffree thinks, most people don't feel like YouTube is dead. A lot of people still really enjoy long-form content because it doesn't compare to what you get over on TikTok. Yes, it's nice to scroll on TikTok for a while and not have to commit to a long video, but sometimes you want to sit down and put a long video on and actually listen to someone talk and review things or tell you information. I think Jeffree just noticed that he wasn't getting 30 million views per video, and to him, whatever money he's making from 1 million views, it wasn't worth it to him for the effort. I mean, I'm sure he has enough to live off of, plus he has other businesses, so I'm sure it made sense for him. Anyways guys, let me know what you think about everything down below. Do you think Jeffree will actually end up quitting for good? Or can you see him maybe coming back and only posting when he has a new collection? Let me know, and I'll see you next time.